So, Tucker Carlson. No longer on Fox News. Lol. Can we get some lols in chat for the death of Tucker Carlson's career? And yet another media empire from which he has been fired. He announced, didn't he, that he was going to be doing shows. He said he was going to be doing a show on Twitter. And the first episode dropped, as you see there. Episode 1. Now, because it's a Twitter video and it's longer than 10 seconds, there's no way I'm going to be able to play it on Twitter, right? So, I uploaded it as a private video on YouTube, and we're going to be watching that. Don't you worry your pretty little head about it. And I titled it Tucker Carlson, because I am so original and funny. But before we even get into the fact that he's filming it in a shed with a worse lighting setup than I have, even though he's a fucking multi-millionaire, right? It's ridiculous. What I do like about this is none of the actual content of the video, which again we'll get into. It's a mixture of JQing and Russian propaganda, right? Spectacular stuff. Even how strongly he dog whistled on his Fox News show. Clearly, they were holding him back at least a little bit. At least trying to make him look vaguely like he was doing mainstream conversation or whatever, rather than just outright neo-Nazi propaganda. Now he's just all bets are off. He's just buck wild Nazi propaganda. That's what he's doing here, all right? But what I love about this is because he's from he gained his notoriety, as it were, from Fox News, which has, let's say, some of the crustiest viewers ever, some of the most boomer cuntbags that have ever existed watch his show. He had to send out an email advertising this show, right, and a message to everybody, which was directly to boomers, telling them how to make this happen, telling them how to get their a video to work, right, on the internet. Just brilliant. I mean, amazing. Tucker Carlson sent out this message. Tucker Carlson, there you go. Hey friend, it's official. Tucker is back. His new show, Tucker on Twitter, launched last night. Don't have a Twitter account? No problem. Here's how you can watch. No payment or login required. First, head to tuckercarlson.com and click the blue arrow in the centre of the video box. That's how boomer his audience is. They had to be taught how to press the play button. I mean, I'm bad at tech. I am absolutely fucking dreadful at technology. But even this is condescending bullshit, right? Come on. They had to be told how to press a blue button. Next, you'll be taken to Twitter, where the episode is posted. If you're watching on your mobile device, a blue arrow like the one above will appear, and clicking it will start the video. If you're watching on your computer, click the white arrow in the bottom left to start the video, and the two diagonal arrows in the bottom right to expand the video to cover your device's full screen. They have to be taught how to full screen a video. If your video is muted, click the volume button in the bottom right for sound. Last, if any pop-ups like this one appear on your screen, just click the X on the top left to have it removed. Amazing. Genuinely, no notes. No notes required. Perfect. It's right in the Tucker Carlson boomer viewer audience fucking wheelhouse. Genius. Fuck me dead. Thank you, Belvoir P, for gifting a sub to Panicked Future, and thank you, Main Captain, with 100 bitty bits. It says, this is the last bits for my month budget, but here you go. Thank you, Main Captain. Enormously grateful for that. We are on level 2 of the hype train, people, so I'm going to have to finger both of these cunts. You can continue the hype train with bits and subs, etc. Your support means the fucking world to me. Rory Katz has it contractually written in that I do have to mention that he doesn't care. He does not care about any human nonsense, but I do care. He does not, but I do. Yes, I mean, outside of saying breathe in, breathe out, I don't know what more they could have done to try and make these boomers actually get to watch this video. Their instructions were that detailed, you know. Anyway, shall we watch
Kitty Bunk?
We shall watch Kitty Bunk first. There it is. It's such a funny sound. Oh, poor little kitty. Anyway, Tucker Carlson. His first show, he could have talked about anything, right? There's no editorial stance that he can't take. There's no editorial decisions that he can't make, right?
Stop it. Get some help.
He's not on Fox News where he has to talk about certain things in a certain way. No. He can talk about anything in any way he likes. So let's see what he thought was the most important thing, shall we?
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. This morning it looks like somebody blew up the Kakhovka Dam in southern Ukraine. The rushing wall of water wiped out entire villages, destroyed a critical hydropower plant, and as of tonight puts the largest nuclear reactor in Europe in danger of melting down. So if this
Not really, but okay.
was intentional, it was not a military tactic, it was an act of terrorism.
Well, that could be both of those things, actually. It could genuinely be both of them, you know. Thank you, Swirly Curly, for resubscribing. 8 months you've been with me now. You could finger them all. You have 10 digits. I do have 10 digits, Swirly Curly. But also you are 1 month away from a post-birth baby Bible abortion. And that's beautiful. Yeah. I just want a match-worn Jack Grealish shirt. Want it? No, I do not, as Friends Rust. I mean, I've got plenty of toilet paper, but thank you. What is this? Lily the baby sleeping in the window seat. What? What is this? On Instagram? What is this Instagram? Is that like gram as in the measurement? I don't know. That is a baby. There is a baby. There is a baby, 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 baby. There is a baby. That is a baby. That is a baby, 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 baby. Everyone go and follow Nick on Twitter for cat-based purposes.
The question is, who did it? Well, let's see. The Kakhovka Dam was effectively Russian. It was built by the Russian government. It currently sits in Russian-controlled.
No. Time out. It was built by the Soviet government, of which Ukraine was a part and paid more into the system than it received. Okay? Ukraine always gave more to the Soviet system than it ever received back, both in terms of food, in terms of production, power, etc. So, I mean, straight away, just a great big massive fucking lie from Tucker there. Anyway, so it wasn't actually Russian. Do you see how he's doing this? It's Russian. Therefore, the Russians can do what they like with it. It's actually Russian. No, it's Ukrainian. It was built in the Soviet era, and then when Ukraine became its own independent state, it transferred to Ukrainian government control. The Russians then illegally annexed it in the recent, last 18 months. But it's Ukrainian.
Territory. The dam's reservoir supplies water to Crimea, which has been, for the last 240 years, home of the Russian Black Sea Fleet. Blowing up the dam...
Well, and the Soviet Black Sea Fleet. Again, don't pretend, Tucker, that Russia and the Soviet Union are absolutely the same thing, because they're not. They are not.
It may be bad for Ukraine, but it hurts Russia more. And for precisely that reason, the Ukrainian government has considered destroying it. In December, the Washington Post quoted a Ukrainian general saying his men had fired American-made rockets at the dam's floodgate as a test strike.
Do you have a source for that anywhere? Is there a source for that, Tucker? Anywhere?
So really, once the facts start coming in, it becomes much less of a mystery what might have happened to the dam.
Well, no. What clearly happened to the dam was that they wanted to slow down the recent counter-offensive by the Ukrainians, and so they decided to flood the surrounding area, whilst at the same time endangering tens of thousands of people's lives. Because, they're a terrorist state doing terrorism. That's what they do. They've literally flooded areas that they control, killing people and endangering lives, destroying cropland as well, which is very bad. All of this is very bad.
Any fair person would conclude that the Ukrainians probably blew it up.
No. Any fair person would probably wait for the evidence, but would conclude that probably Russia did it at this stage, actually. But, look, wait until the investigations are done. Wait until we get more facts out of it. But no, he's just going to say Ukraine did it. because obviously that's what all of them are saying. Did you see my favourite piece of nonsense? Oh my God. Johnson Hitler. Or Jackson Hinkle, as he's occasionally referred to. I don't like to call him that, though, because it's funny for me. Anyway, this fucking bellend, who is an absolute ring piece of a man, they're being interviewed when Tucker Carlson used to have a job, decided to aid the Russian war effort with lies. Where is it? There we go. Boom. Because remember, the Russians were originally saying the British did it, right? The Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Do you remember? It was done exploded. It was broken. The Grey Zone, firstly citing the Grey Zone, amazing, led the first independent expedition investigating the Nord Stream bombings. Near one of the blast sites, they discovered a diving boot used by US Navy divers. Why didn't the Swedish investigators collect the boot or mention it in their statement? Either they didn't see it, or it wasn't there, or this is just made up. Anyway, you've got to love the corrections on this one, right? According to the Grey Zone article, so even the Grey Zone reported this. You are less honest than the Grey Zone, Jason. According to the Grey Zone article report in the tweet, boots of similar appearance appear to be commercially available as well. These diving boots are used by a variety of divers, not just the US Navy. Jebsen. Even the Grey Zone admitted that much. Not Western propaganda, not Ukrainian fucking Nazi banderites. The Grey Zone. You are less honest than the fucking Grey Zone. You make Max Blumenthal look like a fucking Pulitzer Prize winning journalist. Are they going to lick that boot? Well, I mean, no, because it's maybe was used by an American. To be honest with you, though, that boot, even though it's literally under the North Sea, is probably less wet than Vladimir Putin's boot when Jackson met him. Just saying.
Just as you would assume they blew up Nord Stream, the Russian natural gas pipeline, last fall. And in fact...
Really? Because, again, we've had... It's the British that did it, the Americans that did it, and now the Ukrainians that did it. Okay, babes.
The Ukrainians did do that, as we now know.
No, they didn't, and no, you don't.
It's not like Vladimir Putin is anxious to wage war on himself.
Are false flags a thing you're aware of, Tucker? You're conspiratorial enough that you probably think, I don't know, 9/11 was a false flag or something, or Sandy Hook. I mean, you'll never tell the truth about it because who knows what you actually believe. Maybe you don't at this point. Maybe you've stared so long into the abyss has stared also into you, and you have no idea what you actually believe anymore. But either way, I certainly can't know what you believe. But almost certainly it will be false flags somewhere along the line. Maybe that COVID was a false flag or something. Who knows? So why you can't accept the idea that Vladimir Putin might have done a false flag in order to blame the West for shutting down a pipeline that was going to be shut down anyway at some point? I mean, there's plenty of rationale as to why Russia would have done that. You absolute fucking weapons-grade tool.
Oh, but that's where you're wrong, Mr. and Mrs. Cable News consumer. Vladimir Putin is exactly that sort of man, the sort of man who'd shoot
You're not on cable news anymore. What are you talking about?
himself to death in order to annoy you. We know this from the American media, which wasted no time this morning in accusing the Russians of sabotaging their own infrastructure. Bill Kristol, the man who once told us that Saddam Hussein was responsible for 9/11, immediately
a lie that you believed, by the way, at the time.
Denounced Putin as a war criminal and even more savagely compared him to Donald Trump.
I don't know which one's worse, war criminal or Trump. Well, I mean, I repeat myself.
The rest of the pundit class made similar, clearly coordinated noises. Putin did it! Putin did it! And their reasoning was simple. Putin is evil, and evil people do evil things purely for the dark joy of being evil. In this specific case, Putin attacked himself.
Oh, no. This is how technologically ungifted he is. Look how boring this is. Look how fucking stale this is. Without a team of engineers behind the scenes to have the graphics on screen, to have the chyron with the news going past, or Tucker Carlson Tonight at the bottom, and, you know, editing in pictures or footage or the split screen for another guest that makes it look sharp and... This is just a boring cunt talking to a camera. Much like I'm doing now, I guess. But he's got millions of dollars. You think he'd be able to do something about it?
Most evil thing you can do, and therefore perfectly in character for a man that evil. That was their explanation. No one who's paid to cover these things seemed to entertain even the possibility it could have been the Ukrainians who did it. No chance of that. Ukraine, as you may have heard, is led by a man called Zelensky. And we can say for a dead certain fact that he was not involved. He couldn't have been. Zelensky is too decent for terrorism. Now, you see,
Okay, so you're just going to be like, no, actually, he might have done a terrorism. I'm just going to say that. Fuck it. Wait, don't you have millions of dollars, Kev? Yeah, but I'm buying loads of cocaine with it, so fuck you.
see him on television, it's true you might form a different impression. Sweaty and rat-like, a comedian turned oligarch.
Do you want to not refer to a Jewish man as rat-like, maybe, Tucker? Do you want to... Literally, we are less than 3 minutes in, and he has already referred to a Jewish person as sweaty and rat-like. You just call everyone racist, even when they use literally centuries-old racist tropes about Jewish people. Like, what the fuck? He's on a different level, this lad. Fucking hell. Twitter is a cesspool, isn't it? An absolute cesspool. He's not even doing echo posting, because echo posting, at least they can say, like, well, technically I didn't say the racist thing. He just went and said the racist thing. He literally just went and did it. He's literally worse than the echo posters.
A persecutor of Christians, a friend of BlackRock. But don't believe your own eyes. Actually, Mr. Zelensky is a very good man. The best, really. As George W. Bush once noted, he is our generation's Winston Churchill. Of all the people in the
I wouldn't compare him to Winston Churchill. He hasn't done any genocides. What?
world, our shifty, dead-eyed Ukrainian friend...
Shifty, dead-eyed, rat-like man. Like, this is just Nazi propaganda. This is just straightforward, like, Der Stürmer level caricaturing of a Jewish man now. That's what's actually happening. And the great businessman that he is, Elon Musk, wants to try and monetize this shit. I wonder why Coca-Cola don't want anything to do with Twitter anymore, Tucker. Because he literally, I mean, we might play it later in the week. The RFK Jr. did a Twitter space with Elon Musk, where Elon Musk basically spent much of the time complaining that half of Twitter's advertisers have left. And whinging about that. What the fucking hell, man? He's a fucking clown.
In the tracksuit is uniquely incapable of blowing up a dam. He's literally a living saint, a man in whom there is no sin. That's why Lindsey Graham is so attracted to him. They're just two good people, hanging out together and being good. And like all good people, when they meet in person, they spend a lot of time talking about killing people and laughing like friends do. Here's the pair last week.
You literally, when someone came on and said that they need what you needed to, what was the thing that the guest said? It was something like they need to start destroying Chinese people or something, and he laughed along with it. Like, also, dickhead, he's in a war. What do you mean he's going to talk about killing people? Of course he is. He's the fucking leader of a country at war.
Free or die.
Free or die.
Now you are free,
Yes.
and we will be.
And the Russians are dying.
It's the best money we've ever spent.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, Lindsey Graham is a fucking ghoul. Like, he probably does jerk off at the idea of Russian people being killed. But, like, Zelensky has to talk about killing people because he's a leader at war. Is Tucker implying that Graham is fucking Zelensky? Maybe. I don't know.
That was
The Russians are dying. It's the best money we've ever spent, Graham says. A smile spreads across his thin, quivering lips as he forms the word.
Is this just... Hang on, is this turning into fan fiction? A smile goes across his thin, quivering lips as he reaches across and gently caresses Zelensky's upper arm. He feels the bulge of the muscle. He becomes erect. Like, what? Yep, okay. I mean, let's hear about Lindsey Graham's nipples.
He looks like a starving man contemplating a breakfast buffet. The aroma of death has aroused Lindsey Graham. Thanks so much, replies Zelensky. He feels the same way. See, there's nothing...
No, thank you so much, as in, you are an elected senator in America and I need to continue having American money. Not, he agrees, yay, Russians are dying, or whatever. Yeah, and of course the Russians could just leave, yes.
Nothing dark here. Just two middle-aged guys celebrating the killing of a population. They don't seem like the kind of people who'd enjoy flooding villages or starting a famine. And in any case...
The Russian army did this, you fucking clown. The Russian army started the war and blew up the fucking dam. So, I mean, I don't know what you're so fucking bent out of shape about, really.
Who cares if they are? It's really not your business. Your job is to support Ukraine. Watch Nikki Haley, a Republican candidate for president, explain this principle on CNN.
A win for Ukraine is a win for all of us. And for them to sit there and say that this is a territorial dispute, that's just not the case. To say that we should stay
So Nikki Haley isn't far right enough for him.
neutral, it is in the best interest of America. It's in the best interest of our national security for Ukraine to win. We have to see this through. We have to finish it.
See? It's very easy to understand. It is vitally important for you to support Ukraine because it's necessary for Ukraine to be supported by you. Your support is mandatory until it's finished, whatever it is, and whatever that means.
You are such a boring cunt. Honest to God. Without the... Oh, fuck me. Without the flashy graphics and the editing department behind him, he's got nothing. This is fucking tragic. This is so boring.
So shut up and support Ukraine or else you're in trouble. Back when they still taught logic, statements like this were known as tautologies. Something is true because it is. The more you repeat it, the truer it becomes.
Which is what you do on your show all the time, but... Oh, sorry, your ex-show. You are unemployed, as we know.
It's a self-reinforcing reality. There was a time when tautologies were considered illegitimate arguments, not to mention hilariously stupid. Only dumb people talk like that. Now everybody in power talks like that. Diversity is our strength. Trans women are women. Zelensky is Churchill.
See? Just throw all of the bigotries at the wall. Boom! Racism, xenophobia, transphobia, fucking... I don't even know. Russian war crime apology, whatever. Jesus. Yeah, and those aren't tautologies either.
It's all self-evidently true. Doesn't need an explanation, and don't ask questions.
And this is the point. This is what fascists do. They will say things that are true, right? And then, or repeat things that other people say are true, like diversity is our strength, or trans women are women. And then go, see, but you can't question your orthodoxy because they're just supposed to be true because they're true. Whereas you're the ones literally doing I've already decided this isn't true regardless of reality. You're the ones doing that, actually.
Sound familiar? Of course it does. That's the pap they're serving us day after day in steaming, lumpy portions. By this point, it's possible that American citizens are the least informed people in the world.
Because they watch Fox News.
Your average yak herder in Tajikistan knows who blew up the Nord Stream pipeline.
And they're obviously stupid. The people of Tajikistan are so stupid, even they know. What the fuck? Do you want to be any more of a bigoted cunt, really?
It's obvious. Does he think some skinny dude in a dress is actually a girl? Come on.
Okay. I mean, I don't know why you're referencing Stephen Crowder, but fine.
That idea would never occur to him. You've got to be lied to at full volume over a period of years in order to reach conclusions like that. And of course, we have been. The media lie. They do. But mostly they just ignore the stories that matter. What's happened to the hundreds of billions of US dollars we've sent to Ukraine? No clue.
Well, they haven't actually sent hundreds of billions of dollars. They do know exactly what it is. They've sent, like, tanks and missiles, and they're now going to be sending planes. Like, they know exactly where that money's gone, because it's already been spent. There isn't actually money, not much anyway, going directly to Ukraine for them to just, like, fritter away on fidget spinners and gambling addiction. No, they're sending hardware to them. They're sending fucking missiles and shit. He's just lying. He's just lying in a really boring way.
Organized those BLM riots 3 years ago. No one's gotten to the bottom of that. What exactly...
Was it the Jews? Is that literally what you're just implying now? Was it the Jews or the Ukrainians or the Ukrainian Jews? The Ukrainians. What are you... This is ridiculous. This is just fucking madness. This is just fascist drivel.
What happened on 9/11? Well, it's still classified. How did Jeffrey Epstein make all that money? How did he die? How about JFK? And so endlessly on.
So he's literally doing 9/11 trutherism and JFK nonsense. This is Alex Jones. This is just Alex Jones. He's literally doing 9/11 trutherism in 2023. This is the quality content you get on Twitter.com. Fucking evil.
Not only are the media not interested in any of this...
Yeah, because it's bollocks. They're not interested in that shit because it's been investigated and it's wank. We know what happened. Fucking clown. Oh, the media doesn't want to talk about my fucking conspiracy theories. Yeah, because they're shit. And you're a clown. That's why they don't want to talk about it. It's not some shady conspiracy by them. Echo mark, echo mark, echo mark. It's that you're talking bollocks.
They are actively hostile to anybody who is. In journalism, curiosity is the gravest crime. Yesterday, for example, a former Air Force officer who worked for years in military intelligence came forward as a whistleblower to reveal that the U.S. government has physical evidence of crashed non-human-made aircraft, as well as the bodies of the pilots who flew those aircraft.
And? I mean, firstly, that wouldn't actually be that surprising if it were true, but because obviously they'd try and cover it up. But also, does this person have any actual evidence that this is the case? Or are they just a whistleblower? Because just a person coming out and saying, oh yeah, the US government's got aliens and shit, that doesn't impress me. That's not like, I'm not going to take that seriously. If you can't show it, you don't know it. And he hasn't shown anything. So, yeah, no, the far right have absolutely taken the alien thing, by the way. Yeah. All of them. All of them now genuinely believe aliens have made contact with Earth because one guy said it. That's it. One guy who was in the fucking Air Force or whatever, I don't fucking know, provided no evidence whatsoever, but just came out and said it, and now all of the far right believe it. I've seen all of them literally just saying it now. I think Matt Walsh came out and said he liked it. Matt Walsh aliens, I guess. I don't know. There we go. Intelligence officer now confirmed that UFOs of non-human origin have been recovered and studied. At this point, the only reason to discount this report is your own preconceived... No, because there's no fucking evidence of it. There's no evidence being provided for this whatsoever. If you do, I'll believe it. If you provide evidence that this thing is true, I will believe it. But so far, it's just far-right lunatics who are saying, oh no, this is definitely true now. Because they've decided it. They've just decided, yeah, that's real now. Yeah, is alien a third gender? Will they accept that as a third gender? I don't know.
The Pentagon has spent decades studying these otherworldly remains in order to build more technologically advanced weapons systems. Okay, that's what the former intel officer revealed, and it was clear...
No, not revealed. Not revealed. Just said. He just said it. That's all that happened there. There's no revelation here. It's nothing.
He was telling the truth. In other words, UFOs are actually real, and apparently so is extraterrestrial life. Now we know. In a normal country, this news would qualify as a bombshell, the story of the millennium. But in our country, it doesn't.
Because it isn't real. There's no evidence for this. You fucking tinfoil hat freak. It's nothing. It's not a story because it isn't a story. There's no fucking source for it. It's just... Oh no, there is a source. It's some guy said so.
Whistleblower's account ran on a technology website called The Debrief, which you've probably never heard of. The Washington Post had that story, but decided not to run it.
Because there's no evidence. Oh, God. I hate the Washington Post with a vengeance, right? It's owned by Jeff Bezos. By the way, you can give me Jeff Bezos' money via Amazon Prime subscriptions. I hate the Washington Post. But on this, Tucker, they were just correct. A person made an outlandish claim for which there is no evidence, so you don't run it. It's not a story.
The New York Times, meanwhile, just pretended it never happened.
Because it didn't.
On the front page of the New York Times website this morning, there were 5 stories about Ukraine, as well as 4 stories apiece about Donald Trump, trans people, and climate change, the usual lineup. There was...
Well, that's all you talk about. It's fucking trans people, isn't it? Or, sorry, sexy M&Ms sometimes as well.
Nothing at all about how an alien species is flying hypersonic aircraft over our cities.
They're not. There's no evidence for that.
Not one word. So if you're wondering why our country seems so dysfunctional, this is a big part of the reason.
Because they don't want to accept weird alien stories from random wankers. That's the fucking problem, is it? Help me, Internet. Help me. He's going to give me an aneurysm.
Nobody knows what's happening. A small group of people control access to all relevant information, and the
JQing, just straightforward JQing.
rest of us don't know. We're allowed to yap all we want about racism, but go ahead and talk about something that really matters and see what happens.
You talk about racism all the time, or I suppose the lack of racism, whatever.
If you keep it up, they'll make you be quiet. Trust us. That's how they maintain control.
He's just
When
doing
Western
JQing.
Turks first started
Just
traveling
JQ.
in large numbers to the Soviet Union in the early 1970s, they found that many Russians had a
Oh, so you now know the Soviet Union's a thing. Oh, okay.
completely warped understanding of the United States. They thought that Americans lived in grinding poverty, in a state
Millions of them do.
of perpetual race war, and were
Millions of them do.
desperate to flee to the freedom and prosperity of the Eastern Bloc.
Well, that's
They
not so
thought
much.
this because that's what they had been told. They had no way to know otherwise. The few Russians who understood what was really going on in the rest of the world had learned about it from listening to shortwave radio broadcasts, sometimes under the covers so the neighbors wouldn't hear. 50 years later, it is bewildering to consider the ironies here. We're the ones who live in ignorance now. The U.S.
Because of you. You're literally one of the reasons for that.
government has managed to classify more than 1 billion.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, wouldn't the existence of aliens like completely debunk the nonsense of the Bible? Wouldn't that fucking prove that the God you imagine exists doesn't? It wouldn't disprove the concept of a God, more generally, but it would definitely, like, the Bible couldn't possibly, well, it already can't be true, but especially so, because we're not a special creation. There are other creatures out there. Oh no, don't get me wrong, again, it wouldn't disprove the concept of a God, because a God could also have created those aliens, absolutely. But the special creation of humanity, that as described in the Bible, that we're some sort of special thing here, that would be completely destroyed by the existence of aliens. Because that's what Christians believe for centuries and centuries. We're the only creatures that exist. Because to be fair, that's the only evidence they had, was that humans were the only creatures that... humans were the only higher intelligence creatures that existed anywhere on the planet. Anywhere in the universe. Because God created it that way. Whereas aliens completely destroyed the possibility of that being true.
So-called public documents. So at this point, we can't possibly know what our leaders are doing. We're not allowed to know. By definition, that is not a democracy. Yet it's
America isn't really a democracy, but yeah.
fine with the media. Secrecy is a powerful tool of control. Stop asking how we got so rich. Here's another story about racism. Go eat each other. That's the program.
Stop asking how we got rich. No, it would be good to know how they got rich. Because that would involve racism. It would involve talking about slavery, wouldn't it? Tucker. You fucking idiot. Oh, the boys are fighting. The boys are fighting. Thank you, Nick, for this one. So Matt Walsh says, oh, aliens are real. And Michael Knoll says, do I need to make a feature-length documentary called What is a Demon to teach at Matt Walsh blog that extraterrestrial aliens aren't real? Yay, the worst people in the world are all fighting. Good. Fuck them.
Program. That's how most of us now live here in the United States. Manipulated by lies, silenced by taboos. It is unhealthy and
silenced? Dickhead, I'm literally listening to you fucking speak. Silenced. Yeah, this is the average Tucker Carlson fucking viewer. Why can't I figure out how to watch Tucker on my phone? Correct.
dehumanizing, and we're tired of it. As of today, we've come to Twitter, which we hope will be the shortwave radio under the blankets. We're told there are no
It isn't.
gatekeepers here.
Except if you're an opposition party in Turkey during a general election, in which case, Elon Musk will happily curtail your freedom of speech. 100%, yeah. Or if you disagree with him in any way, or don't pay him $8 a month, he will curtail you completely. Yeah.
If that turns out to be false, we'll leave. But in the meantime,
it already
we're
is
grateful
false.
to be here. We'll be back with much more very soon.
Jesus Christ. That was sad. That was so sad. It was pathetic, wasn't it? Isn't he the most boring without all the huge fucking budget for special effects and shiny graphics and editing and all the rest of it, he's rubbish at this. He's a floundering little fish boy. And his show, much like Twitter itself, will die. And that's a good thing.